All right. All right, we got everything up and running. Let's get on Facebook real quick. What's up, family? What's up, family? I know y'all ain't here yet, but the black signal has went out, so we must proceed. Let's see here. It is time for... Where you at? There we go.
Mr. Diddy, Mr. Diddy, Mr. Diddy.
Shouts out to Mr. Peter Nelson. I see Lady J is already in the call-in line. Make sure everybody know what the numbers are. Let's get it. No. Here we go. What's up, Brother Kwame? Shouts out, fam. This is Brother Hatim coming with you live and direct. First, I want to welcome you to the Congregation of the Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Of course, you know this is a Heart of a Simba production. And of course, you know that right now you are tuned in to Tribal Quotes, where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. What a week. Well, I have to go into a little bit of my, guys kind of caught from the side because I've been hearing all of this turmoil over this man's sermon. And the spirit has just come over me that I have to go on and salute the ancestor Aretha Franklin. You know what I'm saying? And there's been a lot of turmoil about this man calling for the black man to find his soul. And the brother was talking about the difference between a house and a home, and bringing up the problems, and hell with the fact that the black man is already down. Let me kick him a little bit more. Where is your soul, black man? All right, so I'm kind of in between. I got to think a little bit more about it. But I had to sit down and listen to what the man said, because I honestly believe that we can't really formulate an opinion about something unless we immerse ourselves in it a little bit. But my immediate piece for an international event like that, since they turned it into an international event, it was weak. And it wasn't what we needed, my opinion. And as I say, like I said, my opinion. And if that needs to be something we need to discuss on the show, we've gone and hit on that. We're going to hit these proverbs first. And I got one more thing to share with y'all, right? Tomorrow morning, I am going to talk about a study that I stumbled upon. And I'm looking into this thing called the Federalist Society. I know many of us may not know about it, but the Federalist Society is a 30 to 32-year-old organization that has found a way to link the power of the youth and the young with the statesmanship of the old. And this organization that was formed during Ronald Reagan's reign in Washington, D.C., has been able to determine several appointees to federal judge positionships, as well as several Supreme Court justices. Now, the reason I'm studying this because it's like, if you want to win, you have to look at some of the strategies that are being used. And basically, this is an organization that grabs young lawyers and shapes them in the mind state of conservatism and law, and projects them through the organization, through the network that they have formed, into positions of power, so that they can make sure that America runs in their vision. And that's very key. So we're gonna look a little bit more into that tomorrow, because I got an article. It's kind of long, but I'm still trying to decipher, and I got to think about it a little bit. Brother Kwame say, didn't hear the sermon, and I will be working toward a great ancestral celebration and Kwanzaa celebration. That's true. That's true. We're gonna do that. We need to get together, so we got to talk about the very two things that you put on there. It's time for the Congregation of Mighty, the core, you know what I'm saying, to get together so that we go and do some planning. You know what I'm saying? That's all of us. I know. I'm gonna have to call on you, Kwame. I'm gonna need a favor. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to pay you a visit and do, the Don Quamioli thing. I'm gonna need some Don Quamioli, to make some stuff happen. But we got Lady J on the line, and Lady J, I want to send out some shots to you. What's going on?
Everything's good.
Cool. So let's get into these proverbs without any further ado. Then we could let the conversation go where it will. We are on day 40 from the Gye-Nyame Journey Workbook, Tribal Quotes, compiled by Brother Hatim, which you can see. You want to support the journey, you go to GyeNyameJourney.com. You look in the top bar tabs. You can find the book that you want, click on it, you can purchase the book. Or if you see me out, you want to get the book, you're going to purchase the book. But if you don't have the money, we can make sure that you get the book anyway. You know what I'm saying? Support the journey. You know what I'm saying? Support the journey. Like and share, family. I'm giving y'all time to get yourselves together because I want y'all to like and share, because it does no good if it stays just within our circles. So like and share on your page or your timeline. Just share. You know what I'm saying? All right. Day 40. Proverb 1. This is by a dude by the name of Steve Pavlina. Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress, and you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it. The next one is the educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. That's Aristotle. And the last one, as I mentioned this morning, is kind of a shocker because when I put the book together, the goal was to always end with an African proverb. But I guess this proverb hit me so much that I wanted to make sure that this had the limelight. It takes 20 years to make an overnight success. Yes, sir, I will reread the first one. Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress, and you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it. Y'all got that? So, Lady J, I'm going to let you have the pick. Which one you want to hit on first?
The first one.
Okay, we're going to start with number 1. Shouts out to Brother Quasi Lowe. Thank you for stopping in. Call-in lines are open, 614-556-4535. All right. Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress, and you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it. Uh-oh. Miss Tiandra says she struggled with this one. All right, Lady J, you want to hit it first?
Can you read it again?
Yes, ma'am. Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress, and you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it.
I'm sorry, the first part.
Just the first part. We'll start with the first one.
Yes.
Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress.
Yes, so in my classroom, I write a quote every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the students have a chance and we address it. And I actually had a quote very similar to this, I believe, last week. And what I told my students, because they're learning English, that sometimes they're going to make mistakes. Some of their accents are very thick. And so even myself, I feel bad because I have them repeat things over and over, right? And sometimes they get frustrated. And so the message to them was that you're still learning. And if you're afraid to make mistakes, you won't practice or you won't open up your mouth. And if you don't open up your mouth, you won't even be able to know that you did it wrong in order to fix it, right? So it was this idea of we don't strive for perfection, we strive for progress. And so hearing this quote, this proverb is, or where are we on quotes, makes me think of just that. Right? That if we are so caught up in doing something perfect and then we fail, in the future we won't try to do it again because we'll be, kind of discouraged. So it's all about that growth mindset, right? The growth mindset, which is something that we have to impress upon and teach our children. It's not our job to teach them what to think, but how to think. And so this idea that when you make mistakes, it's room and evidence of growth, right? And that's it.
Okay. That's the first part. We got another caller on the phone. You want to add something to this quote? You need me to read it again? What's going on?
No, I don't know, but I don't need you to read it again.
This is Sister Navita. What's up?
What's up? This is my take. I like to get these quotes like the sister did and apply it to now. So here's my now with that quote. Yesterday I posted something about, a lot of people were kind of, giving a big up to Nike for, getting behind Colin Kaepernick and putting him out as their front man in their Nike campaign and everything, which is cool. I'm cool with all of that. But it's, everybody seemed to be behind it, so I just don't know why, but this thought entered my mind. For those who are, giving Nike the kudos for standing behind and supporting Colin Kaepernick, how many of you people still watch the NFL? And a lot of people said they still watch the NFL. And the way they treated the brother, the NFL treated the brother, is kind of an oxymoron for you to be so pumped about Nike getting behind him because the NFL did him so dirty that he couldn't even get a job anymore within his craft. But you support Nike, it's like an oxymoron. But I say that, so people started saying things like, well, why should we boycott the NFL when, we have black people who work, too many black people are employees with the NFL, and anytime I notice lots of times when I propose to do an action, a lot of times the response is, well, what about this or what about that? So with the bus boycott, they didn't stop and say, well, what about the blacks who don't have any other form of transportation to get to work? Or what about the blacks that clean the buses? We can't do this because this is not going to be a perfect protest. Well, it's never going to be a perfect protest, and I think that's how that quote applies to that situation. If you think you're ever going to get it perfect, you're just not going to, or you keep striving for that perfect moment to do it, it will never be done at all.
Striving for.
Can I add on to that?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Shaka just entered the chat. Welcome back, Brother Shaka. But we're going to let Larry J go, then I'm going to let you go because you've been gone for a while. We need to know what's going on in your neck of the woods. But go ahead.
So I just want to say that Sister Lavonda is definitely, I'm just in one accord with what you said. And one thing that I think about is that I often say it doesn't matter how we participate politically. We just must be ready to participate politically. And then I also want to just throw out, I apologize for digressing in advance, is that whole Nike thing, I have likened Nike to JFK. Nike will appear, and though I'm glad that it's getting people thinking, and I like when people get riled up and it shakes folks, but it's going to go down that Nike they'll get a lot of accolades for this, but the reality of it is that they could have stood up last year when this began. They could have started their campaign at another time, but I think that they said that this is their 30th year reunion or something like that. It got to be more than that, whatever anniversary. And so they chose, 30th year anniversary of Just Do It. And so they chose to use Cap as the analyst. And my thing is, I think of JFK when he drug his feet to stand up, against for the civil rights movement. He drug his feet. He waited into an opportune time, and then what happened was he was hailed as the great savior. And though I am all for political participation in the getting on the knees for Cap and other people who stood behind him, as well as the people who are burning their stuff for Nike, you know what I'm saying? Salute and shout out to you, because I can't suppress your right to participate politically, especially when I'm going to stand behind Cap and his right to participate, right? It just kills me that some people, the same people who stood quiet when he was in protest and said that NFL had a right to make people kneel are the same people protesting now. It's just, it's just all sorts of crazy. But yeah, again, it's never going to be a perfect time. We just have to take action and hit our opponent, our oppressor, our enemy from all sides with everything we have, meaning participate politically.
All right, brother Shaka, welcome back. You've been gone for a little while. What's been going on, and do you have any insight on the proverb? Do you need me to reread it? Anybody out there on the chat as well, feel free to post it up. I got room for all of us if you want to come online. We can argue all night. Well, not all night, but
Right on. Right on. Well, thank you for having me back. I've just been, going with the flow, doing what Bruce Lee taught me. You know what I mean? Being like water. You know what I mean? So right now, the waters are still, and I'm just listening. I'm just listening to the universe to see what my next, major move is. But still, the same, the same plan. Just at this moment, really improvising and seeing what I got to do to get to, to accomplish what I came to do. So back to the proverb. I do need to hear it again. And
Mr. Shaka.
Yes.
Mr. Shaka, can you please do me a favor? I desperately need you to remake and remix James Brown.
Stop. Stop. He got a better song than James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud. I'm just letting you know right now.
They always remaking songs. I know he does.
I'm not
always, oh my God, why do you even... I'm talking to Mr. Shaka.
We're talking about he want to hear the
You tell me the other day to turn my request into the village, and now I turn into the village and I'm still in the wrong.
You could get his number. You could get his number.
No.
I was about to reread the proverb.
Please do. I was just, Mr. Shaka, I will connect with you off Gye-Nyame line so that I can put my heart's desire into your hand, please, sir, because they got on me the other night, and then when I do what they tell me to do, then I still get in trouble. I just wanted to say that. Please reread the quote. Please do not respond to my rant. Please just read the quote.
Woman, you make me smile.
Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress, and you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it.
Say it one more time.
The first part is believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress. And you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it.
Okay. So I don't agree at all. I don't agree. All right. And here's listen. Here's who you're talking to, though. You're talking to a man who died from stress. All right. But I also understand that I'm here to do something, and time ain't necessarily on my side. So, do I got to do it perfectly? No, like right now, I'm just waiting. Like I said, the water's still, and I'm waiting to hear I'm waiting for the sign from the universe to be able to know, do I got to get up and do my work? Can I? Do I got a deadline for this? Of course you do. But if you don't set yourself to it, then, you start procrastinating and nothing gets done. Lady J's asking about some music, and I'm sitting here with like 5 different songs. All of them is in this creative process, right? And I know that when everything I put out, I intend to be a hit. So do I just rush it out here to throw it in the machine so that I got some evidence of my work, or do I listen for the universe to tell me what to write? So I wait for the inspiration so that when you hear it, you're inspired the same way as I was when I wrote it. Whoever wrote that, I feel lacks inspiration.
All right.
I feel that.
Keep on going. I'm listening.
I feel that when you do something because it comes from the heart, there's no work that is too big. But when you do it and it feels like work, that's when you get burned out. That's when you get burned out. You know, what stressed me out last year is really coming to a head and understanding that I've trusted in the system to at least, you know, to competently provide a certain justice. And then coming into the mind state and into the life where not only can I not believe in that, but I have to look at that same system that I entrusted to bring a higher quality of life through justice and understand that they are the ones that is
causing all the injustice.
Causing the injustice. You understand? So, yeah, it's tedious and it's work having to deal with that type of opposition, being one man against a system that is faceless.
Now, let me say, oh, go ahead, Sister Navi. Go ahead.
Well, I think that this proverb can be used where it's applicable. I don't think it's necessarily applicable for every scenario, but the scenario where it definitely applies, then it can be used. I think in some cases, like what Shaka presented, in that case, it wouldn't apply there. In others, like the one that the sister used, Lady J used, it very well applies there. And the one that I use, I feel it applies in that scenario as well. But it doesn't necessarily apply to everything.
I mean, you can't. I don't feel that one can necessarily despise work because it's work, or become disenchanted with work because it's work.
But let's be clear. I want to understand. Let's understand they're not talking about necessarily work, however you define work. What they're talking about is the pursuit of perfection. And when we look at the definition of perfection, I pulled it up on my handy-dandy computer, having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics, as good as it is possible to be, absolute and complete. You know what I'm saying? And when you're striving to, like, for example, Shaka, with your music, you'll produce a song like that one song. I can't remember the one song that I love, and get on stage and take it to another level, and then you perform the same song 3 nights later, and you perform and take it to another level. Now, I thought it was perfect where it was, but during the time when you was on stage, you took it to other limits. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't stick to the same scenario. You became like water, right? And I think this proverb for me is believing that you must do something perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do that, you kind of limit what you could do. I mean, and it's like you got a lot of organizations. You got a lot of organizations, a lot of individuals, as was already detailed earlier, and they use this exact language, waiting for the perfect moment. When the perfect moment,
let me chime in right there, and that is the key, is the moment, because that is what look. There's a lot of great things that happen, and the camera ain't rolling. Right.
Right.
And what becomes of it? right there on Mount Vernon, over where they got the basketball court. Not on Mount Vernon, Long Street, and Hamilton Park. They got a basketball court behind a church or something. And I swear I was outreaching one day, and I saw a brother, must have been 25, 30 years old. Name was Rocky. This dude can do a backflip and slam dunk a basketball. In fact, Hakim, wasn't you with me?
I would
Wasn't you with me?
I would
It was
remember
a brother.
that. I remember that. If I ain't never seen nobody do a backflip and slam.
What's the older brother's name? It wasn't the pet. It was the older brother. He had the straight back cornrows. Older brother, not an elder, but older than us. And his name was not Sapet. But this brother, Rocky. I mean, the stuff that he can do before, the hang time that he got, it was magical. And I'm sure that somebody talking about him like they talk about Michael Jordan or LeBron or something. But the piece is that he did all of that in front of us. And what next?
So, but I mean, then in that case, the cave, you know what I'm saying? If we go back in time, some of our ancestors need to just put the shit down because it didn't matter because nobody saw it. The issue is not necessarily always recording it, but doing in the moment the best that you can. Presenting something in the moment, because really when it comes down to it, the only thing we have is this eternal moment. And if we're waiting for the perfect moment is the moment that we are in right now. The perfect moment.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
The Malcolm X Festival. We could use that as an example. We could have said, you know what? We can't put on this festival because we don't have enough food vendors to do this with. So, and we want this festival to be perfect. So we're just going to cancel it. You don't make no progress that way. Because you may never get that perfect. You know, you might not have a food vendor this time. Next time, somebody might not even show up at the last minute. So then but we want to make that progress. We're going to move forward, and we're going to make the best of an imperfect situation.
But then again, we got to look at what perfect means, because what we have in our mind is perfect. I'm thinking maybe causing problems, but we got Quasi Lee on the line. Quasi, you want to make a comment on this on this proverb?
Yeah, can you say the second part again?
Okay, cool. And you'll associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it.
Yeah, man, it occurs to me that, like, it's a difference between perfection and flawless. You know what I mean? I don't know, it might be playing with words because you use perfect in a certain context in the first part. But I think, in a sense, everything is perfect. Like, everything perfect being 100% and complete. Like, everything is exactly what it is. You can't change the moment because the moment is. You know what I mean? Like, right. Even Shaka, you might come out with a song idea, and the idea is perfect. You know, bam, this idea, this song is going to hit everybody exactly where they need to be hit. But the first time you lay it down, it might not be flawless. You might have to go back in, and then you might think of somebody that could sing the hook better than you or hit a tone. You see what I'm saying? To convey whatever it is that you want to get across better. You see what I'm saying? But the original idea that you had was perfect. You know what I mean? Because it had the exact thing that people needed to receive. It's just, it might be able to be refined. You know what I mean?
Now,
I think that the proverb is saying that, I think the proverb is applying to an individual. So you're perfect. I think, like how Tim was saying, there's divine perfect. I think perfect is in the eye of the beholder. So if you are the person that this is applying to, whatever is perfect to you, don't let that be the reason that you don't go forward, because you may never reach, quote unquote, perfection.
I'm thinking
somebody on the line, somebody on our timeline, I think it's pronounced Tokishia, asks the question, how are you measuring the progress though? You know what I'm saying? And I think that might be kind of the crux in the discussion, because you know what I'm saying? If my progress don't measure up, was I wrong for doing it? And I think the key piece that we need to go back when we look at this proverb is the second part, because Quasi told us that we haven't written, and you associate that stress with the task, and thus condition yourself to avoid it, because the human being is designed to, in a sense, escape stressful situations. Sometime by us looking for this flawlessness, this perfection, we condition ourselves and connect that thing we're trying to reach with the idea of perfection. And because we never reach that idea, we never take the true action to bring it to fruition. So, you know what I'm saying?
I have a very specific value for the perfectionist. I mean, when I listen to Stevie Wonder, there's a master at work. When I listen to Donny Hathaway, there's a master. I mean, his voice is magnificent. You know, Frank McComb, even one of my contemporaries. Here's a piece, though, is that without them, you just got a lot of mediocrity. Without them...
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Do you think that, and I hear the Proverbs basically saying that when you are a perfectionist, sometimes when you feel like there's things you can't be perfect at, you avoid them for knowing that you can't be perfect at it, right? That second part.
Right.
But when I think of a perfectionist, I also think of someone that can't be flexible. You know, like how I think perfectionists, they can see things in their head, you know, and they get on that, you know what I'm saying? They kind of get on that, they have that one way view on things, and so they're not as flexible. So that also may be an issue. I think that there's everything's right in striving for perfection, but I think it's also sane to also accept that though it's a goal, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not our objective. I don't know. One way or the other, basically.
One of the things...
I kind of piggyback off of that, because, like, I think sometimes what it might be, too, is we might want to do something. Like, recently I've been, like, getting in the ring and doing a little bit of boxing just to try to, you know what I mean, just stay fit. I've been really working, like, focusing on my fitness here lately, and I enjoy combat, you know what I'm saying? So I've been doing some boxing, but I ain't never boxed in my life. I'm 35 years old. I'm out here in the gym with cats that been boxing, that's like 20, 17 kids that been boxing for 10 years, you know what I'm saying? So if I was embarrassed to get out there and you know, like get showed up by a kid, even if they ain't necessarily trying to go full go with me, I might never be able to get to the next level because I don't want to show somebody where I'm at. Because
where you
I'm
really
embarrassed at? Or because I don't feel confident, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be judged. Or
yeah. But check this out, man. Wherever you at, you can never really judge your own progress or your own standard by another man's ride. Like right now, at your age, you have surpassed even the lifespan of Bruce Lee. Right? But you look at
Who the hell is that? Who fighting in the background?
Perfectionist. Huh?
Somebody fighting in the background. What the hell going on? Go ahead. Keep the noises down. Mute your phones if you got problems. You moving around and shit. Go ahead, Shaka.
Yeah. But you got Bruce Lee, who was 3% body fat, because he was an extremist. I think that when we think of perfectionists, we're thinking extremists. Bruce Lee was an extremist in that. Would we agree?
Well, because Bruce Lee had a certain passion, and Bruce Lee strove to practice. But Bruce Lee never had an aim of perfection, because he was talking about being fluid and he was preparing himself to deal with unforeseen situations. So it was a little bit different, and he loved what he did because he loved what he did, he understood the law of never reaching that quote unquote perfection. You know what I'm saying?
So you saying that Bruce Lee didn't die from stress?
I don't know what Bruce Lee died from. I done seen a movie where Bruce Lee died from getting too much pussy. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Bruce Lee died from. You know what I'm saying? My piece from my readings of Bruce Lee, and the only thing I can really go off is the thoughts, because you looking at him in the movie and reading what he wrote is a little bit different, and he was striving to be fighting, to be able to deal with all types of situations in combat, because there's no perfect way to go into combat. As a matter of fact, his whole philosophy. And we just did a quote from him yesterday. A good fight should be like a play, but played seriously. When an opponent expands, I contract. When he contracts, I expand. And when there's an opportunity, I do not hit. It hits all by itself.
It hits all by itself.
Any technique, however worthy and desirable, becomes a disease when the mind is obsessed with it. You see what I'm saying? So, because maybe the term perfection could be replaced with the word obsessed. You know what I'm saying? Because the point is being able to free yourself from all chains to pursue something. When you're pursuing something, like with our kids, we want them, and my child only bring home A's, but I don't like mathematics. But he still better get an A. You understand what I'm? So
check this out. Check this out. Let's take it to the opposite, to the extreme. All right. When we speak of perfection, there's a school of thought that only God is perfect. All right. So if striving towards that state of perfection causes you stress in life, and you associate that stress with the past and you withdraw from it, that is a lack of faith.
Well, I actually now feel like I need to look up the word perfect. Does anybody have a definition?
Here, having all the required or desirable elements. It says having all the required or desirable elements, qualities or characteristics, as good as it is possible to be.
Is a 10 out of 10 perfect? Is that a perfect score?
That depends.
Are we not just talking about a level of a standard of excellence? Perfection?
Well,
anybody that scored 10 out of 10, that's perfect, right?
Right. In the game, that would be considered perfect. You know what I'm saying? But now, how did you get to that perfect? I mean, is your life a wreck? You know what I'm saying? Are you beating on your kids? You know what I'm saying? Are you sacrificing unnecessary things? You see what I'm saying?
Phil Jackson.
Who?
Yo.
Mike, let's look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was, if we wanted to be performance-wise, Michael Jackson was perfect. But if you look at the rest of his life was fucked up. Go ahead. I think that's Kwesi. Go ahead, Kwesi.
Yeah. I want to latch on to a word in there, and it's a word that that's been coming up for me a lot here recently. I've been talking a lot about the 4 elements that combine to make life. So if we think about earth, air, water, and fire as the 4 elements that combine to make life, having all the required or desirable elements, then life is inherently perfect.
Right. I mean, I agree.
Because you can't have life without all of the elements.
And exactly. If all the elements so in a sense, we are right now in a quote unquote, for lack of a better term, we are in a perfect moment. We have all the elements of life and all the elements to move us to where we need to be. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, Brother Kwame, let me go back to some of the quotes from the people. Brother Kwame said the age-old argument between being and becoming. He also say it's a type of personality when striving for perfection, or at least align it with the standards that have been set. And see, we got to look at that, because Ms. Johnson bring that up a little bit later, looking at the standards that have been set and who set the standards and who does these standards benefit. I think as long as you do your personal best in that very moment, that's your truth, your perfection in the now. Brother Kwame bust out laughing, listening to our conversation. Be like water, fluid, and adjustable to the current. That's Miss Cynthia. But who's setting the rules of the game when you say 10 out of 10? And
exactly,
brother.
So perfect is in the eye of the beholder. You have to apply it, in my opinion, to you. What's perfect to me may not be perfect to you. So when you're just defining the perfect by the definition that how Tim gave us, then you have to use that in your eye for perfect to you. It's not going to necessarily be what's perfect to me. So I think the proverb itself is something you apply to you, and not necessarily you can apply it to someone else, because you don't know their idea of perfect.
Brother Kwame, wait, hold on. Brother Kwame say, don't forget ether, that Oregon energy. In Gye-Nyame, we call it life. I know that's going to piss you off. But in Gye-Nyame, so when Kwesi was breaking it down, he was breaking it down through the lessons through which he got. And we don't call it ether, we call it life, because all four of those elements are active in that thing called ether. You know what I'm saying? Or what we call life. We live it out. When all four of those elements are working together, that produces life. And that's what we take it. But I hear you, Brother Kwame. I don't know who was talking. Sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
Well, there's actually another. My bad. Real quick, I just wanted to read this other definition, like the verb. I'm reading from Wikipedia, because it says make something completely free from faults or defects, or as close to such as a condition as possible. So I think that was Lady J that was just saying it's in the eye of the beholder. So,
that was Navita. And also Sister Navita.
Oh, my bad. I apologize.
And that goes back to Sister Cynthia's point, but who's setting the rules? Like, for example.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's where I go back to,
go
like, the 96 Olympics, where you had you remember the two Dominiques? You had the Dominique Dawes and then the other Dominique. But the thing is that, like, she's doing her tumbling routine, man, and it looked perfect to me. It looked absolutely perfect to me, the dismount and everything. And it was some little twist that she did that jammed up her point. And she looked out there and saw her point, and tears came to her eyes. And I'm just like, man, that was such a beautiful thing. I was amazed at her routine. You know what I mean? But you look at the level of, we're talking about the difference in being a perfectionist and being extremist. I feel that when you compete, especially with pageants and stuff like that, we start seeing more extremist behavior than perfectionists. When you got mothers getting their little 7-year-old girls together for those, what do you call those
pageants? Yeah.
Pageants.
And now,
those types of pageants, the Olympics. I mean, stuff gotta be on point. I admire. I have a great admiration for the perfectionists, and I recognize when they're a bit extreme in their practice.
Now, in those, let's put it this way, and we got to differentiate in this quote, because let's read the whole quote again. Believing that you must do something perfectly is a recipe for stress. And you associate that stress with the task and thus condition yourself to avoid it. Those individuals that we look at that may be in the highest precipice of sports, first off, we always got to be careful about who's judging that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then also, we got to understand, those individuals fall outside of this definition. Because when you are in sports like that, it's not about being perfect. It's about getting better from each practice.
But it's following the rules.
No.
It has to follow the rules of the sport that was set.
Not just follow the rules, but you got to remember these individuals practice religiously. They, in most cases, unless they are a child being forced by a parent, they are in love with what they're doing and they're investing. And they understand that they will never reach this quote-unquote perfection, but they strive for it and they enjoy it. And they look at the failures as motivation to keep going. So that's a whole different mind state.
Like when they get a 10 out of 10 in that sport and the conditions that were set for a 10 out of 10, which in this sport they consider that a perfect score. And why is it a perfect score? Because of the rules and regulations that would sit there. They fit every one of those rules and regulations. So some people do get a quote-unquote perfect score according to what they defined as perfect.
But I think even
now
like
you're
in
trying to
gymnastics,
make your perfection be what their idea of perfection is in that case. And in this case, I think the proverb is talking about your own personal perception of perfection.
But we brought up.
I would like to cross-reference this proverb, Mo Better Blues. For everybody who's seen the movie Mo Better Blues.
I was too young for that when that movie came out. I don't remember that movie. It was.
Oh wow!
Gilliam. I've seen the new one, but
it's a new one.
What? It ain't no new Mo Better Blues.
It ain't no new, but come on now.
Oh no, there's not.
All right.
Oh, you talking about She's Gotta Have It, the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie.
So Bleak Gilliam, of course, in love with his music, more so than he was in love with his women until he lost his music. Would you say that he was obsessed with his music?
Oh, he was definitely obsessed.
Was it a love story about a man and his music?
It was. It was a love story about a man and his music, and he settled for the woman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was.
Are you saying that he didn't realize the love that he had for her?
He didn't have. As long as the music was there. What I'm saying, as long as the music was there, the women satisfied a one. When the music was no longer there, that's when he needed a woman. Yeah. He was in love. My opinion, he was in love and in pursuit of the music. And the music was, and in a sense, his pursuit of the music, looking for becoming better and better, helped provide him with more and more resources so that he could continue living the life that he was living. But when him and music broke up, he settled for the other chick, because those other two were side chicks. The music,
right?
The music was his love. So he wasn't in pursuit of perfection. He was in pursuit of his love. See, and there's a difference. You understand what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, but look at the young Bleak Gilliam. The young Bleak Gilliam couldn't go out and play with the rest of the kids because his mama made him stay home and play the trumpet.
Right. Now, hold on. Now, he was forced. Now, that goes back to that whole parent shit. The parent forced him, but he still, because if you remember, the friends that were standing outside calling him and calling him names were also the same friends that was showing up at the club with his ass too, because his manager was the little dude with the glasses was Spike Lee. So he still had friends, so he was able to have time to play. He just had to do his practice. Now, the parents might have forced him into that love affair, but once that love affair started paying, that's a good one. But the whole piece was Billy Gilliam wasn't searching. I don't believe it was perfection. It was love, just like with Bruce Lee. It wasn't perfection. It was love. When you fall in love with something, like when I started doing these podcasts, right? I didn't give a fuck whether I had intro music. I don't care. I like doing this. I love doing this. And if it's going to cause me tension in my life, everything around me, as long as I'm handling my other business, you know what I'm saying? And I'm able to have time to get away to do this, even when there was nobody listening. I liked, and my fault, I love doing this. So I kept doing it. I'm not striving. My whole piece is, I done did shows where I done had to get up in the morning and be like, look, my computer moved too slow. There's no intro music. We just gonna work it.
Right, but you still was gonna move forward.
I'm moving forward because I'm not stressed about impressing y'all. I'm not stressed about impressing y'all, not because I don't respect you, but because I love the craft and I believe that what I'm doing is serving a purpose and bringing value to people's lives. So I continue to do it regardless of whether everything is working right. There's been times where I had to shut down the whole damn computer and just be like, look, I'm on Spreaker. You know what I'm saying? I don't care because I love doing this. I love communicating like this. So, but hold on, let's go back because we got a lot of comments. I think, I done switched the screen. I am sorry, Facebook. Hold on. Y'all saw my messy living room. Damn, it's zooming in. Why is it doing that shit? I ain't never known to do that before. I didn't know Facebook could zoom in like that.
What?
Yeah, did you know Facebook could zoom in? That's some new shit.
Nah.
All right, I think as long as you're doing your personal best in that very moment, that's your truth, your perfection in the now. Be like, okay, cool, we done did that, but who, okay, let's go down, let's go down a little bit more. Damn, it switched again. Why is it doing? I guess I got to click it twice. There you go, okay. If I push twice, that's some fucked up shit. Based on Avita's comment, I say self-mastery is perfect. In linguistics, hold on, my face all big on Facebook. In linguistics, we have perfect tenses, and all that means is that the action is completed. That's from Brother Kwame. Sister Cynthia say, based on Navita's comment, I say self-mastery is perfect. Control of yourself, creating your own reality is perfection. Brother Kwame says, exceptional percentages in basketball may be shooting 75% or better from the foul line and above 50 or better from the field, far from a true sense of perfect. Unless you're getting paid a lot of money. I agree that his love was music. Man, I went to school with musicians at Open and Conservatory, and music was a first love, and it paid off. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so I think if we change the words around, what in the hell is happening to my camera?
I want to stick to the proverb, and I want to come with the remix.
The remix? What remix?
Of the proverb. I think that we should not change the words around because the proverb is what it is, and that's a saying.
I respect that.
That's my opinion. So, in regards to the proverb that you put forth, I would like to say, go back to the initial example I gave about protesting the NFL or protesting anything. When I try to get people to boycott or protest, they always say, this we can't because there's black people that play for the NFL. Or we can't protest this restaurant. There's black people that work there. There's never going to be the perfect scenario to protest anything. And if you sit around and wait for that perfect scenario, then you'll never make that progress. Take that step.
Now,
that's what I think.
But also,
that's what I think the whole thing is with this proverb.
And also bringing it back. Sometimes we can't expect perfection far as our outreach. We need to deal with those that we do have. All right? I'm not watching NFL. Right. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I really don't give a fuck about the Colin Kaepernick thing. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I mean, it's all this shit to me. I'm looking at.
You know what? I heard y'all talking about that earlier, and I wanted to say something. Y'all, I heard Lady J. Lady J, you still on the line? Or did she hang up?
She's still on the line. She's just chilling tonight.
She was talking about Nike, the Just Do It slogan and all of that. Here's what I got to say.
I don't know if y'all want to... Wait, hold on. I don't know if y'all want to get in that Colin Kaepernick shit with me because I'm going to piss y'all the fuck off. Y'all better leave me alone, but go ahead.
Man, I ain't even known it. Listen, this is what I got to say about it. I think Nike, in all realness, need to come out with a John Carlos and a Peter Norman shoe. These are the runners that changed history by making a stand and making a point to make a stand during a global event.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
the brothers that put the fist up, right?
Now check it out. One of them was the brother. One of them was the brother. The other one was the white dude that came in second. He ain't even make the statue. But ask me why him? Because
why him?
It was his idea for John Carlos and the other brother to put their fists up and for all three of them to go out there barefoot because they were all protesting against poverty. But the brother, so the white dude, the Australian dude, my bad, the Australian runner who came in second, his name was Peter Norman. And before they came out,
you sure won third?
What's that?
You sure didn't come in third?
Well, we got to check that out. So
somebody Google that, please.
Peter Norman was the one who had the black gloves, and he gave the other brothers the black gloves so that they can put their fists in the air. He only had one pair, so that's why one of them got the right hand up and the other one got the left hand up.
Who ended up dying in poverty too.
Exactly. Because nobody in Australia would give him work because of that stand that he made. When he went back to Australia, they did not even let him compete, even despite the fact that he was the best athlete in all Australia. Because he made that stand, they didn't fuck with him for the rest of his life.
Now,
and he died. You're right.
But
he died in poverty. And guess who was what do you call it? The pallbearers were
the brother that Carlos was with him.
Yeah.
Well, two of the pallbearers, because if those two niggas carried that coffin, they were strong as hell. I'm just saying. Listen. I'm gonna say this. I appreciate y'all using the platform that we built to go and give Nike some more money. Fuck Nike, right? I'm just saying, they never did shit for us. You know what I'm saying? Them giving, doing anything for this boy ain't gonna benefit us. And I'm gonna say this also. Colin, when I look at it and I see the commercial and I see all this, and I know y'all if y'all want to talk about it, I'm gonna pause for a second. If y'all want to talk about it, let's talk about it. But I'm gonna be as real as I possibly can from my perspective, and I'm only coming from my perspective. But the whole shit is shady to me, and I'm gonna tell, and I could tell you why if y'all really want to talk about it. We go to the next proverb, or we could go and hit this whole Nike shit. Because this is another co-option.
Yeah, let's go to the next proverb.
Cool. Because it's all about co-option for me. That's all I'm seeing. Co-option. But, which one? Y'all want to do 2 or 3? Everybody, I need whichever come first. 2 or 3.
That's Quasi.
I don't remember what they were, so.
All right, Quasi. You new on the line. Go and pick number 2 or 3. And no, I ain't gonna read it for you.
I don't even know what you even reading from.
My book, the book that you should have had if you were supporting your big brother and shit. But no, y'all don't support.
Man, you know I'm lacking, man. I just put my I've been wearing my beads again, man. I'm an initiate again. I got my initiate beads. Did you notice that? And all the pictures I've been taking lately, I got my initiate beads on, man. So I'm getting back in it, man. I've been lacking. So,
but you don't come back in as initiate.
I ain't got no excuses.
No, but listen, you don't come back in as initiate. You got to come back in initiating. See, because understand, the initiation process is a two-way process. The people that's being initiated and the people that's doing the initiation. So it affirms both parts. It's sort of like martial arts. You don't lose your rank. You might have got a little bit rusty. You don't lose the rank because that shit's been drilled into you. So I don't need you to start all over because that would be unfair to other individuals that might be trying to go to your standard not knowing that you got 15 years prior to them and shit with your old ass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But Sister Regina says, number 2. So it is said, and so shall it be. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. Damn. Where the lightning at? Hold on. That proverb is so cold, I gotta pee. Somebody want to take that one first? I'm old. I gotta use the bathroom. Sister Cynthia, I got you. You always in support, man. Listen. And all of y'all that's been supporting Gye-Nyame Journey, whether with your eyes or with the donations for the festivals, we have had a hell of a year. I can't wait to Kwanzaa because I'm gonna show out when it comes to putting up the harvest. Cause family, the shit I got planned. Right now, I had the garden folk tell me, Brother Hatim, you got to tell us how many pounds you want. So I need somebody who is familiar with cooking greens. How many pounds of greens do I have to get to feed about 150 people?
About 150 pounds.
For real? A pound a person?
Hey, I love greens, man. I can eat a pound of greens easy. I don't know, probably at least 100 pounds. I don't know, man. Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there for somebody who knows, who have cooked for large groups before, because all the greens that are going to be prepared for Kwanzaa, the Karamu. I want the greens to be grown and touched on by all youth. So I challenge anybody else's Kwanzaa. From New York to California. I challenge all of y'all, and it's going out and share this. I challenge all y'all. Make your Kwanzaa Karamu. Make a majority of the food provided by food that your children have provided. Your warriors. I challenge you. Because it's time for us to start doing shit like that. We already did it with the Marcus Garvey Festival. I'm just saying. Now, with Kwanzaa, during the wintertime, we're going to miraculously pull it off, getting about 100 pounds, because you just gave me the number, Quasi, 100 pounds of greens. Now, what I'm going to need is, I'm going to need family members that know how to cook greens, to take some greens and help me prepare them. Let's discuss what type of education.
Greens today. I got staple recipes for you.
Oh, I know how to make them, but everybody don't eat them like I do. You know what I'm saying? I can steam them. Right? But everybody ain't going to do that. Some people going to want turkey in theirs. Other people might want fish. I don't care. But we're going to have the greens, and I want all the green dishes that is brought, the food, the vegetables we provided by us. Maybe double the amount of serving that they cooked down. I know they cooked down a whole lot. Greens sure do.
Hey, I got a kind of an idea. Tim, on the cooking the greens piece. Now, first of all, of course, I got my own my greens dish called Mojo. It's kind of famous in Ohio. But beyond that part right there, I'm thinking, why not just make cha-cha
out of greens?
Why can't you? You can make it out of cabbage.
You're right.
I'm just saying, fermented greens.
You're right. The fermented stuff is going to be provided by, if you come up, by me and you. It's going to be other people, because I'm going to have all our brewers, all of the brewers and all the fermenters that got scobies to provide some. I'm going to be challenging them to provide, because I'm going to be doing about 10. I think I'm going to do 10 to 15 gallons of that ambrosia is going to be there. So that people could go and sip on it.
So back to the proverb at hand.
Right.
I just wanted to say, I just want to throw this out there. Just as a little sprinkle is a quote by H.G. Wells, and it says that history is a race between education and catastrophe.
Uh-oh. Y'all gonna talk about it, brother? How Tim old? I gotta use the bathroom. I'm listening. Why y'all quiet? Do I need to read the proverb again?
We need to repeat the.
All right, here we go. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead.
Oh man, I went to H.G. Wells. I already wrote about that, but I'm not gonna feel that. I'm gonna share the air.
Hey, I just want to say, for me, I was 33 years old when I got my bachelor's degree from Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a high school dropout, so people kind of like that don't even make no sense. You know what I mean? Like, how you go from dropping out of high school? I never even had a senior year in high school, and then I decided to go back and I got my associate's degree from Columbus State, and I went to Ohio State and I got a bachelor's. So, like, a lot of people associated with me with being a dropout, even though everybody always knew me as a thinker. But then when I actually put forth the effort to go to school and really educate myself formally, when for whatever reason, I expected that, like, I would be embraced by family and friends and all of that.
Hell no, but, you got hate, didn't you?
I got ostracized in a lot of ways. Like, times when I wanted to talk about the stuff that I learned, it was like people kind of came at me as if I was kind of full of myself, or just kind of made me feel a way about being educated. And it was like, you know what I mean? Like, when people are used to living in the dark on one sense, and also when people are used to seeing you in a certain way, then that it brings to mind the saying, a prophet can't be a prophet at home. Because, like, in so many ways, ignorance overshadows life, education, you know what I mean? So it's two different worlds, man. It's like people can't even fathom the type of stuff that is common knowledge to me, almost. You know what I mean? Just and it's not even that it's nothing about me, really. Like you just said, that H.G. Wells quote, man. Like, really, we piggybacking off of just universal information. Like, it's not me, it's not H.G. Wells. This is just the universe, this existence, man. Like, when you know the secret, it's like portals, man. Education is like a portal to get you from one place to the next in the most efficient way. Now, and if you don't know that,
thing, though.
But hold on. Wait, Miss Cynthia said, well, she said mix the greens with cabbage. Thank you, Miss Cynthia. That's a good idea. But I got to make sure the cabbages is grown by us, and it's hard to grow cabbage on those towers like that. But I'm going to keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. She also asked Quasi, what your bachelor's in? What's your bachelor's in, Quasi?
Psychology. My bad. I keep running back and forth and pushing mute because I'm over here with my juicer, and I'm trying to make some carrot apple ginger juice.
All right.
So, yes, in psychology. And I also got a minor in youth development.
Okay. And Brother Kwame say the doubly ignorant, where one doesn't understand nor does he desire to understand. Miss Cynthia said deaf, dumb, and blind, the 85 versus the 5%. So now, I want to first take this to, what are we talking about when we say education? Because Aristotle, this ancient West Asian, wasn't talking about what we might be talking about. So let's be clear of when we talk about education. And he says, the educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. Sister Regina says,
I want to chime in.
Okay, who's that? Go ahead. That's a new voice.
That's shocking. But go. What did Miss Regina say?
Wait, hold on. Only on Gye-Nyame Journey. Sister Tiandra say, is Quasi open to a part-time gig or anyone on the call? Get on the timeline. Contact Sister Tiandra if you're interested. Sister Regina said, this one intrigued me because it's Aristotle, so I think about the time period he would have said it and the circumstances. Public education is a new convention and is historically a privilege in that culture. Hold on. Culture today, I think, is education, but more about knowledge and awareness, not so much about degrees attained, although college does allow time and space to gain a greater level of knowledge and awareness. And then I'll make sure to post the page tonight. So be on the lookout for the page. Post it on Gye-Nyame Journey so people can get it. Obviously, Quasi is interested because that nigga jumped off the call and went straight back into the chat. But hey, that's what we here for, fam. But Shaka, you were speaking, and I rudely interrupted you. I apologize. Go ahead.
Right on, man. It's your world. So here we go. First of all, when we're dealing with whose concept of education, understand that when I say education, I, as an individual, mean enlightenment. All right? But also, I understand the ramification of the social aspect of education, in that when you go through an educational process, that is what acculturates you with other people who you have not yet even met yet, because they're going through the same acculturation. So right now, as we're moving among this whole, this cavernous world where your acculturation is not like my acculturation. Your children who go to a school and are around other kids in a physical environment are not being educated like my son, who is now homeschooled on the internet, which is just for right now what it needs to be. When it comes to the acculturation, and we go back into the proverb, and we go back to even H.G. Wells talking about history being a race between education and catastrophe. What we're talking about is those who are acculturated in a certain way to believe that that for them opposition is love, is devotion. You understand? And that is the fundamental aspect of what makes racism to me. So when we look at what can be catastrophic because of the way that we're acculturated in this world, I wrote on this, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's one piece that especially, I think, speaks directly to this. And this is from my sci-fi story called The Evolution of the Elevated People. But this one little excerpt says, as the mysteries of the world are constantly revealing, we are discovering new heights in the potential of man, new abilities that were dormant only in our ignorance. We must accept that as a species, we are infants. As we are guided out of an age driven by fear, we must embrace the faith that brought us here. It is what ignites our soul force, our bond to the greatest love known to man. Our Creator is so magnificent that He's already furnished the universe with answers to questions we have yet to fix our minds to ask. The key to righteousness is asking the right questions, not those conceived in our minds, but in our hearts. Be one with greatness. And remember, as we move about the caverns of this new world, change is inevitable, but evolution is optional. It is what distinguishes our intelligence from our enlightenment, our adversity from our advancement, and even the living from the dead. Shine light.
That was a story that was created by Brother Hatem, and because she read that shit on my show, I have all copyrights, any copyright infringement, any further reading of that.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
Shaka, we old because nobody got that joke. I'm just... Nobody got the joke, man. I'm sitting up here like, damn, nobody know where that's from. Okay, Brother Kwame say, educere means to lead oneself out from within to bring out what is inherently inside him or her. Sister Tiandra says, after school program for high school students, a dope after school program, if I may say so myself. Utilizing hip-hop, pop culture, and current events to engage the students in dialogue to pull them into academic and career-based content rather than push it on them. You might want to try to hook up with Lady J because she's really into that as well. Shouts out to Andre Mende, brother.
Hey, let me just say for the record, before I left Columbus, that's one of the things that I helped build.
Okay. Brother Kwame says, I'm with you, Shaka. Aristotle was a student of Plato, and their notion of education was strictly class-based. Sister Cynthia say, shouts out to Elder Alona Wimbush, who probably is amazed that we still going. I'm trying to tell y'all, family, when it gets going, it's going good. We must have different types of education in order to compensate for what is lacking in institutions. But we should be versed in what the institutions teach in order to navigate this foreign culture. Let me go to Seymour. This foreign culture in order to be able to defeat them. Family, and it's like, yo, when we talk about education, we're going back. I like to think back to the terms in which, because if you look at some of the philosophers that a lot of those philosophers looked up to, they didn't have formal education. They just was thinkers, philosophers, lovers of wisdom. Wisdom necessarily doesn't have to be found in a book. More than likely, it's not going to be found in a book. So when we talk about education, it's those that are able to observe and ask quality questions that bring about answers. Being able, because that's what education is supposed to be about: asking questions and being able to find answers, or at least have somebody to guide you towards the answer and not give you the answer. We must have Brother Kwame say Brother Shaka should be turned on tomorrow. Netter, the app denotes both heart and mind understanding. Okay. Oh, okay. So I think there's a tomorrow mental netter class where they might be discussing some of this stuff tomorrow. But
wow.
Brother Kwame say no. They followed the known thinkers around and listened to them pose questions, and they would attempt to respond to the questions. So basically, you had a education that was based on asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Not just to the philosophers, because there was other wise people that are around that we didn't hear about because they didn't write down. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, that's just my opinion. All of which came from our African ancestors, meaning Aristotle, Plato, and etc. Now, we had an education system that consisted, well, I mean, I can't say all of them, but it consisted on pulling out the wisdom within by asking questions. Now, of course, if we look at the education system we have right now, it's not based on asking questions. It's based on remembering answers.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes problematic when it comes time for you to be doing some creative thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because now, because you never really asked a quality question, now that you need to ask quality questions, you don't know how to ask the quality questions, right? You know
what that is, though, Hatim?
What's that?
That's the difference between between educating a speculator and educating an operative. That you can be book smart all day long and run through step one, step two, this is what goes on. But when you actually got to sit in the seat and do it, it's like knowing all the mechanics of the airplane and knowing what does what.
But then when you sit down and do it, you can't do that shit.
Yeah.
Right. we can make it even simpler. You can know everything about the fish. You can know everything about the fishing pole. You can know everything about the line and the tension strength of the rod. But if you never actually sat down and done fishing, if you was thrown out there, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Even though, if you look at how, like for example, I remember a show. Some of y'all might be old enough to remember this show. Do y'all remember they had a show about a little boy that was raised in a laboratory, and they basically would give him, he had, because of the experiments that was done on him, he would be able to read about something and immediately be able to do it? They had several shows like this, where they had these super white boys that, because they had the ability to read about it, they were able to do it. And that's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And we need to be clear about that when we dealing with our kids, because a lot of times, it's good to have study and it's good to be able to look at the folk tales and stuff and learn from the wisdom of others. But there's nothing that beats experience, especially in in important skills. Like I could read, like I done read books about music, but I can't play no goddamn piano. I know a little bit of music theory, but I still can't sing. Wait, hold on. I just read something new. I'm about to sing a song. Hold on.
No. Hey, but back to Daniel LaRusso.
I can't sing?
Daniel LaRusso.
Wait, you trying to change the subject? I can't sing? What? Wait a minute.
No.
I done read some books about music theory, goddammit. Y'all gonna let me sing or not?
Well, sing then, and we'll tell you about how much that applies.
Me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid, he was getting bullied, and he went home and studied out of some
Man,
books.
why is you talking about Daniel LaRusso when I'm about to do my singing premiere, man? I'm about to sing, man.
I can't remember the story of the Karate Kid. That's how he learned the karate. He was studying it.
No, he learned
studying. He took some classes at a Y. He was studying out of a book, and this was before he met Miyagi. Before he met Miyagi,
he was getting his ass kicked. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Mr. Miyagi.
Can you read the proverb for me one more time? I was doing a lot of stuff.
All right, here we go.
Got off I want to hear the proverb one more again. I've been cooking and everything.
Whatever, you just don't. Y'all just scared of me singing right now because I've been studying music theory, and because I've been studying it and reading it in the book, I know how to do it.
Hey, how many viewers you got right now?
I'm not.
Do you want to keep them?
I got a whole bunch.
Let's get back to the topic, goddamn. Sorry.
I'm going to act like I ain't heard that y'all don't really want to hear me sing after I did all this studying, but that's cool. The educated differ from the uneducated, the educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. So there is a giant difference between the living and the dead. Just as there is a giant difference between the educated and the uneducated.
True. Well, that's a true statement all in itself. I mean, we know that. Like when the one brother was on, he said that, something that he feels common knowledge, the other people will be looking at him, and they think
he coming from another planet.
In Hotep or something. But the thing is, that's why education, I think it's just trying to stress to people how being uneducated can be the death of you. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you said something earlier, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same answer, and I think that this is why it's resonating in me right now. Check this out. It's the difference between accepting what is given to you and taking what you deserve. It's the difference between eating what is given to you, even though it's poison, and growing what you know is going to provide you health. That is absolutely the difference between life and death, the living and the dead.
So being uneducated
is being dead.
In the sense of the proverb, is being, is death.
Is death.
And I think that's very true.
Oh.
Because, a lot of times if you're not educated on some things, you don't even know that you're dying.
Hold on. Now, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Because y'all know I'll be listening to that NPR. And I'm going to sing my answer. But I just want to say, I want to welcome Tiandra to the Nerds Club because she spelled Mr. Miyagi right. So, Tiandra, welcome to the Nerds Club. You now are a card-carrying member because you spelled Mr. Miyagi's name right.
Well, now, what did she say about Mr. Miyagi?
She just spelled his name. She gave us the nerd nod that she belongs to the deep inner circle of nerds that know this type of stuff. No, now she trying to act like she's shot.
It's deeper than that.
She actually said, "Did I?" But listen, here we go. Now on NPR, there was a special today about, check this out, the culture. Now check this out, the culture of migration of animals, of large mammals. Brother Hatem, what the hell that got to do with education? Well, what they found was that when they relocated large mammals, they noticed that the migration pattern degraded. As a matter of fact, only 15% of a group would migrate. At the highest, only 15%. But when the population was in the original place, 65 to 100% of them would migrate, because migration meant survival. When they removed these individuals out of the environment that they was in, they found that migrating was not an unconscious, instinctual thing. They found out that larger mammals, like humans, teach culture. And part of that teaching for large mammals was learning when to migrate, where to migrate. And because the adults that was brought there didn't know where they were, they didn't know what to teach the young. And they have found in their study that it takes about 65 years for like large sheep or goats to learn how to properly migrate. And it took 90 years for mooses to learn how to migrate. What the hell that got to do with education, Brother Hatem? When you take a group of individuals and you move them out of their environment, it takes a long time for them to develop the patterns of survival in their environment. So you will have these animals sitting in a space after they ate up all the grass, falling dead from starvation, because nobody had ever trekked outside of the realm where they were. Education for us is very similar now, because I'm going to say this, and I'm going to stick to this. This is why I say we got to have our classes, if not every week, every other week. We got to have culturally appropriate classes. And I want to go back to something Shaka said. When that Australian dude, still with those two black dudes, as much as we disagree with it, when he got back to Australia, they ostracized his ass because he did some culturally inappropriate shit. Now for us, we say it's justice. For them, he did some culturally inappropriate shit. And it's important that we start educating our children according to our culture and educate them according to our cultural rules. Education must happen within the people, and the education has to be geared towards the survival of that group. This is why Homeboy says, because he believed the educated differ from the educated as much as living from the dead. He believed that an uneducated Greek, especially an uneducated Greek in leadership, was dangerous for the total population. How many of us is running around uneducated, even though we got doctors, even though we got masters, even though we got bachelors, even though we got high school diplomas? We run around here and we haven't been educated. We just went to a school, digested some information, was able to regurgitate that shit, and we graduated with a pretty diploma that most of us don't even keep in our own goddamn house. Our mothers.
That's the exact same thing they threw at Obama. Remember, he hasn't been tried. He hasn't been tried. That's what they're saying, that whatever he knows, it has not been tried in a real life scenario. Are you serious?
And see, and the thing about it is, if you look at the proverb and who said it, and the time period in which it was said, and then also referencing the Urugu, excuse me, the book The Urugu with Marimba Ani, that the Greek, they set a standard. And now if you read this proverb, the standard he's setting is if you are not educated, then you are
dead.
So that makes it easier for them to
dominate
prey upon the dead or the African, because to them they're already dead.
They're not.
Wow.
They're not. But hold on, we got to understand how they're dead. They're not dead because they're dead because they have not been introduced to the Greek way or the Roman way or the French way or the German way.
Right. So
education.
we're talking from their perspective.
Right.
From their perspective.
Now, and also
they looked at us and they talked about that in the Urugu, how they looked at us in a certain way, so that made it more palatable for them to
take advantage,
do things to the savage, as they would say.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. So we have to understand.
And let me bring this into perspective.
Everybody's wearing their team jersey and following their team rules. And I'm just challenging black folks to start with. And see, one more thing. I posted up on my timeline. I know a lot of y'all don't want to see it, but it says it's a show called The Millennial African, and I posted up there, right? And I want y'all to see that because I need y'all to understand that everybody else is circling their wagons, family, except for us. My fault in Columbus. We circling.
What do you mean when you say circling their wagon? I think I kind of understand what that means, but can you explain that?
Every group right now are defining the perimeters in which you can operate within their space. Especially if you are outside that, if you are outside them, it's certain things that you are allowed in and certain things you are not allowed in. So Amos Wilson said this back in the late 80s, early 90s. If it ever came down to an individual in power deciding whether their kids was going to eat or your kids was going to eat, your kids is going to lose every time. Because they circled their wagons.
Right. So let me, before I want to go back to something you said about how, like, when you move this mammal from one place to the next, and it's going to take them 90 years to adapt to be able to learn true survivalhood in that space. Now, I'd have to see a little bit.
You breaking up?
You breaking up horribly.
Here's how. So we didn't. Look. All right. So I don't know if y'all heard about snakes in the Everglades, but there's a hybrid snake, a hybrid rockhead / Burmese python that has the biggest one so far, 3 feet long, but they are overpopulating the Everglades. They're overpopulating the Everglades. That means that there are probably some mammals or other species of animals that are extinct down there, and we don't even know it because these hybrid snakes that we brought over, we brought the Burmese over here. We brought these snakes over here. They got loose and they bred, and now guess what? Nobody is safe in the Everglades. These snakes are eating babies. They eating 5-year-olds. They down there doing their biz right now, and we did it. So when we look at the adaptability and what we messing with, when we look at it from a larger scope, who is the uneducated?
Listen, and that gets back. Because we got to understand when you look in history, when people talk about educating, they're talking about educating people in the ways of the people, in the ways of managing the people, in the ways in building for the people. We have to understand this. Any education system that guides you away from being able to understand and to fully utilize the skills of your people to move your people where you need to be is not an education system for you. Damn, I just fired myself. God damn. All right, listen, family. Are they entering houses by... and Brother Kwame asks, are they entering houses by way of the toilet?
Oh, no. People leaving their doors open.
Damn. Well, hey. Shit, I don't know what to say about that shit. I just...
Okay.
But hey, family, we have reached a point to where we're going to have to shut the show down. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get to, we are at 99 minutes, 37 seconds. And I don't want to I want people to be able to watch it on Facebook. I want them to be able to listen to it on YouTube and be able to get the fullness and not get burnt out. Because we do these shows. I'm already doing 7 shows a week, and then we got these 2 shows on the side. I want people to be able to build it. But I ask everybody that's listening, please please share on your timeline. You know what I'm saying? Let people know what we doing, what we discussing, whether you liked it, whether you didn't. Because either way is advertisement. You know what I'm saying? So let's go and build this one person at a time. You know what I'm saying? So that one day we come on here and there's no room on the line. So if anybody want to say goodbye that was here to join us, I don't know who that was that hung up, but you shared, so you have an opportunity to close out. So who want to go first?
I had one of the ladies go first.
It's only one lady. Lady J, you gonna close out? They always, Shaka always wait you out. I think Lady J done fell asleep. She be working hard, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. Lady J.
Why don't you sing something? That'll wake her up.
No, y'all had y'all chance. Y'all had y'all chance for me to croon. Y'all had y'all chance. But you and the Vita, and y'all wanted to shy away from the fact that Brother Hatim was about to do his damn thing. I understand though, you know what I'm saying? Because Shaka, you got a singing career. I'm not trying to infringe on your space, because you dudes got the scobies and shit, and you kind of infringing on the ambrosia. I don't want this silky voice to kind of put you out of work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna stay in my lane. So go.
You sounding real.
Hey man, don't make me break out the songbook. I got the songbook right here. Is this a challenge? Challenge?
I challenge you.
All right.
Today, brother.
But I think Lady J either fell asleep or she's protesting. Because she believe in protesting and shit. So Quasi, you still on the line?
Oh yeah, I thought I was on mute this whole time. Yeah, I'm here.
Hey man, you wanna close? You got some closing words for the peoples since you took the time to call in?
This was a nice show, man. I'm definitely glad I got on. It's interesting how this all went. I don't know. I think I want to talk about the Kaepernick thing just briefly, man. I definitely think that somebody was just talking about the celebrity, all that celebrity stuff. I think it's all really a show, man. From Kaepernick on up. I think really the movement is in everyday people doing everyday things and challenging our everyday way of life, man. It's kind of bothersome to me how everybody is just pro Nike and all they thinking about is Nike, and then they focusing on people burning their shoes instead of focusing on what we as individuals who are under the shoe, under the Nike, what we need to do. You know what I mean? So I'm all about self-empowerment.
Go ahead, dude. I thought you meant you wanted all of us to get into that, because I was about to crack open this ambrosia, because listen, I could go in on that shit, because I'm going to tell...
I need some ambrosia, too. What's up? I need some, man.
I mean, like I said, you got to put an order. I mean, I got some rough. I got some rough that I could get you. Listen, it's highly potent, because I'm using a higher grade of tea. Listen, I'm using a higher grade tea, and this shit is fermenting. Shaka, you need to hear this. This shit that I got here is fermenting totally different. It's taking its time to get the vinegar, and it's moving through all. You know how our shit just jumped? 1 minute it's sweet, and it jumped to vinegar. This shit is mellowing real slow, and I'm thinking the alcohol content on this shit is increasing. I'm sitting up here bugging on this shit.
Hey, that sounds like my daily experience with the red June. And I think that the key is that when you are dealing with, like, when you're jumping from different teas, I think it's still important to have like one
Maine?
one staple tea that you go to because you know the quality of or the content, the caffeine content in it.
Now,
but what happens is that when you start using with those other leaves, they might not be caffeinated as much. So when they're in that dormant period like that, or that slower period, just like this red June. The red June will never turn bitter. It'll turn into vinegar, yes, but it'll never turn bitter.
I ain't talking. Listen, Shaka.
Go ahead.
I ain't talking vinegar. I ain't talking. Listen to me. Listen to how I'm expressing myself. I ain't talking bitter. This shit is mellowing totally different than anything I have had before. Now, I'm using 4 high quality teas. I have come up with a mix that I'm using, and this shit is aging totally different, man. Listen, when I say totally different, and I'm trying to figure out if it's the bee pollen or if it's the teas that I'm using. But Quasi, to answer your question, my friend, call me tomorrow, and I can get you. I get you at least. I get you a nice little bottle so that you go and sip on some until I make my next batch. All right.
Okay.
Have all the health benefits, and right now some of the good side effects. So
yeah, man, I've been all about my health, man. I've been really, really, really trying to push it. Like, I'm eating 1 meal a day. You know what I mean? And, like, making sure I get something per minute or a probiotic every day. Mm-hmm. I'm all about it. So.
And if you want to learn, if you want to start making your own, I could help put you on that path. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Man,
yeah, absolutely.
Wait, Brother Kwame said, man, my hair has grown at least a foot since I began drinking this new batch. And that's that tea. Listen, Kwame, and I need everybody to know, I went out and I grabbed the highest quality teas that I could. That's why I had to take my price up just a little bit, because I grabbed the highest quality teas that I could. But as Shaka said, I'm not paying attention necessarily to the caffeine, because the caffeine has I'm telling you right now, family, I am nice. You know what I'm saying? But I've been drinking a lot of it. So I'm sitting up here like, God, ooh, praise the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But Shaka, it's your turn to close us out, because Lady Jada fell asleep on us.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think that, man, do a whole little, and all is said and done. Ain't nothing left to say or do. No. So I like tonight is, some different energies up in the mix, which I like, and it didn't get way too out there. Sometimes we had guests that like to take over, and I appreciate the fact that even though we ain't seeing each other face to face, we still can identify eye to eye and not step on each other's toes in this thing, because especially with radio, it can turn into that. We are at a disadvantage, but we are working with it, and we are more conscious today of how we are being received, let alone just trying to get our message out and into the ether, as Brother Kwame say. So I do look forward to coming together again and keeping this vibration on where it's at, where it should be. Like Brother Casey say, everything. Well, I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I mean when I say everything is everything. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. The universe always does what it's supposed to, even when we don't think we do. It's all intended. So all that just to say that, as we move about with all these in the Proverbs tonight, they was kind of hot. They was juicy. We talked about education, and we put a lot of things into perspective. So just make sure that when we move out here, and as Kwesi has his own path and his own history that is unorthodox to other people's acculturation, it is that, and it is those type of movements that allow us to have a lot more or a better vantage point in this war against ignorance.
All right, family, I want to thank you Brother Kwame say our tea doesn't have caffeine, does it? The SCOBY deals with the caffeine like it deals with the sugar. It consumes it and changes it into something else. I can't recall what it changes it into.
Antioxidant.
Okay. It changes it into antioxidants. You know what I'm saying? Our friend Shaka out there, he's a brewer, so he knows that, and he could fill in the gaps that I missed. But like I said, that's why it's important for each and every last one of us to do our studies so that we can shore each other up. Because family, this shit got me feeling nice. I'm sitting up here, I am so shocked that I am feeling
Hatim,
nice.
I'm gonna need you to follow up with our other plug on those dandelion roots, because I got a well, I'm gonna talk to you more about it, but I want to do a dandelion soursop and hibiscus.
Hold on, nigga. Then I'm gonna do a totally red ambrosia. You see, now we gonna have to have a sing off, nigga, because you going too far. Don't you fuck with the dandelion.
I'm the one. Listen, I'm the one that gave you that plug.
I don't got no hibiscus. I don't have no hibiscus thing. How you gonna? I'm not messing with the red African bush. How you gonna have? And I can't throw out my dandelion because I can't find no burdock root. Now really, this dandelion root I have no problem getting. I need a hookup on burdock root. Now I want y'all to check this out. I want y'all to look up the burdock root. Burdock root right now is hard to find. I done been to 3 herb stores. Burdock root.
Go get it from outside.
Yeah, I can get it from outside, Quasi, but I'm too lazy. I mean, no.
That's the best kind because it got all of the
I have to go
defenses for the environment that we live in.
Right.
It's
Now,
especially
I agree.
brewed for us.
I agree. But then I have to go into the woods. I have to find it, and then I don't know.
Make sure it ain't got pesticides on it.
Exactly. And then also, burdock root, unlike dandelion root, burdock root they call burdock root the hell root. You know why? Because when you try to pull burdock burrows so damn deep down into the earth that it's hard to get the good part of the root. So burdock root, listen, burdock root is nothing to play with. But you're right. Now, if you find a place where we could go and you know what I'm saying, where I can go and get it, but I need like a pound of it. You understand what I'm saying? I need it dried. So when I go get it, you know what I'm saying, I'm looking for that. But y'all go to your herb stores, y'all check it out, because when these herbs are going missing, this means that a whole nother population is using them. And y'all need to be aware of that because you might need that. So I'm out of burdock root. So I ain't been able to do my I can't even remember what I call it. It's been so long since I made that. I can't even remember what the name of it is. Death Eater. I ain't been able to make Death Eater. But Quasi, get in touch with me. But family, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for joining us on the Tribal Quotes. And welcome to the Congregation of the Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and I want to thank every last one of y'all for joining us. And of course, you know this is a Heart of a Simple production. Strive to blow up your old paradigms, and I will see you in the morning.